Joining us in the studio for this conversation is public affairs analyst Darlington Umoru. I'm always happy to have you on the
Public
show.
affairs.
I'm always happy to have you on the show.
To discuss security.
Yes, I'm always happy to have you on the show.
I'm here.
Good morning, how are you doing?
I don't have a choice.
You rather be here every morning.
Except that beyond being a public affairs analyst,
Yes. Security
I'm also
as
a
well.
security consultant.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've been at the theater, I've been to some of these areas. I've had the privilege of helping to train some security agents who had the privilege of
Absolutely.
passing through some of those classes when I actually participated actively at the presidency as a consultant.
Exactly, and that's why when it comes to security, you're the first person that we get to call. But now let's tackle this issue we're talking about here. We're seeing that they're calling on state of emergency. Mr. Darlington, this is not the first time we've had you on this table talking about insecurity in Nigeria. It's like we go on and on speaking about it, but at the end of the day, we do not see any results. Now they're saying that some reforms, what are the reforms that can be put in place for terrorism? Mr. Darlington, over a period of time, we've seen that these terrorists have become very bold. The other time, there was a newspaper headline where a terrorist had said that, if you kill 10 of us, 20 will come out. They make bold statements, and they're not afraid. We also heard that the fact that they say they also want to be negotiating. Imagine negotiating with a criminal, which is something I've always stood against. I don't know why you're smiling, but let's get into this. What are some of the reforms, and is it too late for us calling for this? Because we keep calling for it, and it seems that nothing happens. Mr. Darlington, over to you. A lot of questions, but over to you.
Yeah, I'm confused at this point. I really do not know where to start from.
Start from the middle, anyway.
You've dropped a lot of missiles from the air, but how do I take it now? Well, let's start from Irabo.
Yeah.
Irabo was a CDS at a point in time. He had the privilege to make all the contributions that were needed to actually make him a part of history, quelling insecurity in Nigeria. He became CDS, insecurity was there. He left, insecurity is still there. He's writing a book now limited to Boko Haram, one of my challenges. Discussing Boko Haram majorly. If you want to talk about core terrorist groups, we have more than one in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Even where Ali was there, we had more than one. So why the focus on Boko Haram? That is a story for another day. Yeah. But whether we have achieved anything, yes, we have. I don't know at the time how many of you will recall when all of these criminal activities started. It spread on to Abuja in the era of Jonathan. Aso Rock became a threat. People were running away from Abuja, the seat of power. And so if terrorism could have existed there, it meant that there was no other part of the country that was safe. Because you have all the military formations in Abuja, headquarters. Yeah. You have all the intelligence formations in Abuja, headquarters. And so if they could penetrate Abuja at that point in time, that almost overwhelmed the then President Jonathan, that pushed him, that forced him to say that his government had been infiltrated by terrorists. Then, fast forward to this day, and tell me if there is a difference. At a point in time in this country, we were waking up with reports and stories of how many people had been killed, either overnight or the previous day, how many villages had been sacked.
That's right.
Sorry, please. Sometimes when I discuss these matters, I get a bit emotional.
Yeah, it's allowed.
Now, whether your position is right, what is your opinion? Yeah. You do not believe that negotiating with these, in parentheses, criminals is ideal. Yeah. The same position Nasir El-Rufai had that almost crumbled Kaduna State. At a point in time when he insisted on that, Kaduna became the seat of bandits.
Yeah.
Even NDA was invaded. It got so bad under Nasir El-Rufai's tenure. But the military showed their strength. They went after them and removed their own that was taken, aside from the one that was killed in the course of all of that. That is to say, whether today and then there's a difference. I'm trying to answer all of your questions. But whether I'm able to satisfy them is another kettle of fish.
No, please go ahead.
Now, back to Irabo. Irabo has said what we need today, political will and emergency. Yes, some parts of the country, we have had state of emergency at a point in time, declared on some local government under a certain administration when they had this problem of insecurity.
Yeah.
Yes, I also consent to that. But there's something strategic that he said. I was trying to look for that. I wanted to read it, to quote him, where he talked about tactical strategy, political will. They must form a tripartite, they must stand on a tripartite,
have a tripartite arrangements.
yes, to be able to succeed. I also agree with him there. But today, the country is relatively has achieved. I'm not supporting the administration because sometimes when I speak this way, people say because you're on TVC.
No.
These are empirical facts that people can relate with.
Right.
Yeah.
These are empirical facts. I'd like you to challenge me for any of those things I have said. Because I've traveled northwest at the peak of terrorism. Even when at a point in time, some of my colleagues got to Abuja who were supposed to serve in Zamfara.
Yeah.
They didn't continue, they withdrew. I was in Katsina. I was drafted now to go cover Zamfara.
Yeah.
Myself and a lecturer in the University of Ibadan. He didn't permit me to call his name. So I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
The basic challenge we have, sorry, before that, one of the basic challenges we have is that, one, I was speaking on another television station, and I said, the National Security Advisor, has it been really up and doing? Has it done enough? That is the center of security planning. Mr. President talked about the clearinghouse, where the DSS will submit their investigation, what they have discovered. And then another agency that is supposed to act takes it up from there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've seen situations where intel were submitted in this same country where we are trying to fight insecurity, and those intels were not acted upon to make them proactive until they now happen. Then we become reactionary.
Okay.
Wow.